show. I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Lining up with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed. Skipping out, no, I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher. Higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher. Higher. Ooh, you take me higher. Ooh, you take me higher, baby. Take me higher. Ooh, you take me higher, baby. Take me higher. Ooh, you take me higher, baby. Take me higher. Yeah, you take me higher, baby.
Welcome to Radical Truth to Power, the progressive news show with Let's BS3. I am your host, Marlon, along with Anna, the returning Anna, along with Theas, who is still muted. And on today's show, we're going to do something we haven't done in a long time. We're going to look at a video from Leeja Miller. Very good commentator on YouTube. Her description and her link to her channel is below in the description if you want to take a look. We're going to look at one of her videos that was done, what I feel like she did the night that Donald Trump won the election. So if this comes off strange to you, how she's speaking, everything, just keep that in mind that she is speaking from the night of the election. But I like the video. There's some hard truths in it. How did it happen? What's gonna happen? And what can we do about it? In that order, and we're just gonna break it down, 5 videos. We have a semi-smaller second hour. Am I the A-hole Mafia video of the week? And we're just going to go right into Foxy's video of the week. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. I truly appreciate it. Let everybody know that we are live right now. It'll really help the channel out. We are still growing. This is our 5th year. I still can't believe that, but yeah, this is our 5th year on air. And darn near with the same crew. So appreciate y'all too. Thank you. Thank you very much. But,
yeah, pretty big.
Anna, how's everything going?
So I've been kind of wrestling with myself how much to reveal. Last night I didn't come on because my nerves were on fire. Like I felt like lightning was shooting from my brain, down my back, out my arms, and down my legs. I was really sick, running back and forth from the bathroom. And at one point, I was just so uncomfortable in my body that pretty much looked like a zombie walking, like that stiff, that shorted. So if I'm gonna be a bit low level tonight, not sure exactly how much I'm gonna say. I do love Leeja's videos. transparency here. I'm one of her patrons. I get to see a lot of the discussions that happen behind the scenes, stuff that inspires her to uh, say things the way she does. And there's a lot of things that we go over. So I really would encourage anybody who um, is interested in the things that she is going over to have a look at her Patreon. It's well worth it. There's extra stuff that you do get for that.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Theus?
I ain't got nothing, man.
You like me? I didn't do anything today.
No, it's been a full weekend, but just lifing.
Huh?
I hear you. Let's see who we already got out there. Tracy is
Hey,
saying,
Tracy.
guess who's first? Yes, Tracy.
Hello, Tracy.
Yeah.
Parker is here saying, hey, and
Hey, Parker.
one more weekend until his term begins.
Yep.
Yeah, we do.
119th Congress is already in session.
Well, already seems like he's president now.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
He's talking as if he is.
Well, he never stopped talking like I'm just saying, like, it's our corporate, it's not even just the corporate media. We got to stop scapegoating it for everything, because non-standard and whatever you call the alternative media, just as obsessed as with Trump as mainstream media or capital media is, whatever you call it, corporate media, because it's wall to wall. You know what I'm saying? Because it creates clicks, it creates energy. You know what I'm saying? We're obsessed with it. So you're not hearing a lot of commentary on how you organize to really resist it. You hear a lot of commentary about how bad he is and, I told you so's and all of that. But he's already been normalized. That's why I'm not willing to get stressed out about this cat. Not really. He is now, I mean, he's, in a way, you're looking at it from the Black experience, he is normal. So here we go.
Yeah. Let's get this party started. All right, just a heads up. Like I said, it's 5 videos, so let's go ahead and get into it real quick. I like the opening to the whole thing, and I titled "The Hard Truth."
Leading up to this election, despite some renegade pollsters predicting decisive Harris landslides across the country, most polls showed that this race was truly neck and neck. And in this, the polls were not wrong. Trump's win was not a landslide, but it wasn't outside the realm of possibility given what we knew going into yesterday. And yet, I personally was not prepared for this outcome, if I can be honest. I simply could not be bothered to even put makeup on for those of you watching the video version of this podcast, because we're keeping it real and raw for you today here at Why America with Leeja Miller, the show that uncovers the why behind the headlines, okay? I did not adequately emotionally prepare myself for this. I really bought into the hype. I really felt like this momentum and hope I was feeling for the first time since 2016 wouldn't end like it did in 2016. And as much as I hate to be proven wrong, I can admit when it happens. And while I feel taken by surprise, I don't feel quite like how I felt in 2016. 2016 floored me because I've spent my life in liberal bubbles and was caught wholly unaware of the bigotry and hatred in this country. I had truly eaten up the lie that I was taught since grade school that was a thing of the past. Today, I'm less surprised to have confirmed for me what I already learned back in 2016. But I think the thing that is so disheartening is that in 2016, I could tell myself, these people have no idea what they just signed up for. They just weren't paying attention. They just know Trump as a businessman. Surely, if they knew of how he speaks about people, what his policy proposals are, they wouldn't have voted for him. I cannot today be reassured about that. People know who Trump is. They watched his criminal trial unfold. They've listened to him and the people he surrounds himself with call immigrants in other countries foul names. They've watched as, in courtroom after courtroom, he's been found liable for sexual assault. Even if they're not familiar with the inner workings of Project 2025 or who Peter Thiel is, they've listened to him say there'll be no more elections after him and he'll be a dictator on day one. They watched our Capitol be overtaken on January 6th, 2021, and the hundreds of prosecutions that came after that. And they said, very decisively, sign me up for another 4 years. In the early hours of this morning, Donald Trump said that this is a referendum, and it is. Harris put up a good fight, but Trump just won the popular vote, a first for a Republican in 2 decades. The New York Times has a map showing the shift since 2020 in each county, left or right. It's a sea of red. This was a rightward swing across the country, and this was not a fluke. Even my county, where Minneapolis is, moved slightly right. And people knew who they were voting for. We love watching those gotcha videos from Trump rallies where some wily liberal gets a Republican voter to say the darndest things, because we can point and say, they're just dumb. They just don't actually know what they're saying. But I think that lets them off the hook too easily. They know. They know what they voted for. Maybe not everything, and none of us can predict the true consequences, but they knew what they were doing. And for me, I think what happened is I deluded myself into thinking that finally things were scary enough, that real consequences were being felt across the country, that issues like abortion, women's rights, LGBTQ rights, those things would matter enough that people would remove their heads from their own asses and vote to protect the people around them. I see now that that was naive.
This is why I see it. And granted, I said it last year, right after the election, and I was flared up, disappointed. So I was saying a lot of things. And now I'm not as flared up. I'm not disappointed. I'm not surprised or anything, but my stance have changed. No, I do not want to hear another, did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he did? Oh, how funny that is. Oh, let's pick on him. It doesn't matter. And I'm saying that because of what she said about the whole got you videos where they talk to MAGA people and haha, look how silly they look and everything. So, because just look at reality right here. Look at reality. The silly old man, the man who can't pronounce words and ramble on and all this other stuff is your president again. So are you doing it to entertain yourself? Because what? It didn't matter. It didn't matter what he said. That dude literally went do a debate and said they're eating our pets and still got elected. So please miss me with the whole what he said and how he said it and when he said it and who said what. I don't care. I don't. Because the reality now, for a lot of people, because Steve's been saying it for the longest time, for a lot of people, this is not the America I thought it was. Yes, it is. And you have proven it. You put a felon back in the White House. You are exactly what you are. And you can sit here and not try to put a mirror in front of your face all you want to. You was delusional, dear. I don't see why you would change now in a way. But you are who you are. There's literally nothing this man could do. Like, period. So I'm just here try to organize, be more informative, protect my family as best as I can. But that's all I can do. try to keep the heat down to the point where I hope it doesn't get so out of control that there's nothing we can do about it. And that's about as rainbow and sunshine I can get. That's about that's all I can muster right now. But Anna,
I have to push back just a little bit on one thing you said. I'm not sure if you quite meant it the way you said it, but they said this is not the America that they thought. There is a great number of white men and women who are on the liberal, the left overall side. They're Democrats. And no, they didn't think their country was this way. Because yes, we've all lived in little bubbles of our own. Yeah, 2016 was the surprise for me. And I think people were expecting 2020 numbers in 2024. Like, surely people must have seen the danger. What many Democrats were blind to was the growing amount of people who said, I am ready to just throw all y'all away and look at the Republican side. It's sounding kind of populist, you know, like there are quite a few who aren't hardcore MAGA who have, left. There were 6 states that Trump was able to turn from blue to red. Democrats have some work to do. And that's to the party, that's to the voters as well. And I mean, when I was looking at the numbers, 77 million to 75 million, that's not the mandate that, like, I was a lot more afraid when that night had just happened. I thought the gap was a lot higher or bigger. I was actually a little bit relieved when the final numbers were coming out. And also I'm looking at third-party numbers, and they barely reached like 1% of overall voting, and that's because RFK was still on many ballots. Like, some honest conversations need to go on. We have about 660 days to the midterm, I believe it is. And we're now looking at, is it still Republican led everything?
yes.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're looking at 2 years of hopefully we take care of each other. We get to we get to work. It's like we've always been saying. What you do matters. And this country is a reflection of what we do or what we don't do. Some of the people who should be going and talking, and I'm not talking cringe at this point. There should be some more conversations that happen. I don't know. So much work to be done. That's how I see it.
All right, Theus.
Well, I don't even know where to start. So I really can't engage in the conversation from a traditional political standpoint because
Hmm.
where I am is not. I'm not there. Um, it may be hard for people to frame for me to frame this for people, but if you've been hearing me for more than a year, then you may recall how I spoke before the election period kicked off. See, I I'm looking at things as practically as I can. And heading into the presidential election period, so that 6 months going to the election, I spoke very much on behalf of Democrats, not because I support Democrats, but because I oppose Republicans and conservatives. And now that that election cycle is over, I'm back to where I was. Because see, politics is all it's one tool in my toolbox. It's not the end all be all. So America is what America is, and this isn't to like pick at anything that Marlon or Anna said, but like Anna, you had mentioned well-meaning white people on the left. That's very true. But anyone, left, right, or center, that didn't realize the temperature of their fellow white citizens, it's because you didn't want to. 100% because you didn't want to.
I didn't say they were well-meaning. I said they were in bubbles for a specific
That's
reason.
that's fair. I said well-meaning
Okay.
because that's the air that people like to carry when they're on the left. We're on the side of decency and goodness and stuff, right? But none of this was honestly a huge surprise. The fact that it was even close lets you know that there's a problem. And that it's close, then you need to look at where is the pull, where's the weight coming from? And that pull, that weight was consistently greater than 60% of white voters in this country. And white community, your European Americans, are the majority in this country. So what was going on? And if you really
Theus, let me stop you real quick. I'm going to play the next video.
Oh,
And
okay.
then I'm going to get right back to you because you're actually touching on what the next video is talking about.
That's cool. I've said
So
everything I've said before. Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. This is the exit poll.
The results, along with the exit polling, shows that, as always, people's perception of the economy and their own pocketbook is the number one thing that animated this election, for white people specifically. White women, predictably, did not show up and create a wave of change this year. As with 2016 and 2020, white people who hold most of the economic power voted for Republicans, the party that is perceived as better at the economy. Even young white people did not vote overwhelmingly Democrat. NBC exit polling shows that a majority of those polled, 67%, feel the economy is not so good or poor, and those who felt that way voted majority Republican. 45% of respondents believe their family's financial situation is worse today than it was 4 years ago, and 80% of those people voted Republican. Fully 75% of respondents say inflation has caused their family moderate or severe hardship, and most of those people voted Republican. 72% said they feel either dissatisfied or angry about the way things are going in this country, and most of those people voted Republican. On the things Americans tend to care about the most, they perceived Trump to be the best at dealing with them across the board: the economy, immigration, crime and safety. 58% either somewhat or strongly disapprove of Joe Biden, and of those people, they voted overwhelmingly Republican. The numbers are pointing to the fact that people do not like how things have been going, and they see, despite all odds and evidence to the contrary, despite hundreds of economists saying, hey, Trump's economic plans will actually be disastrous, they see Trump as the solution to those problems. Fully 43% of those responding to exit polls confirm that they do not see Donald Trump's views as too extreme. 43%. This is America. This is not who we are now. This is not a seismic shift. This is who we are. The polling accurately predicted this. There was no widespread voter fraud. The people have spoken. Numerous hoax bomb threats were called in key battleground states, causing some confusion and later than expected poll closings. The FBI is investigating potential Russian links to those bomb threats. In a future video, I will break down all the ways that this election was tampered with by outside actors, both foreign governments and domestic billionaires. But I want to make clear that there is no evidence or credible accusations as of this recording of massive voter fraud, enough to have gained Trump 5 million popular votes in all of the swing states he's won. He won this as legitimately as an election can be won in a system with a racist electoral college that allows for billions and billions of dollars to be spent indiscriminately to sway the results. The people have spoken.
Okay, Tiz, now go ahead.
So the people, no, those people. I refuse. I refuse to be lumped in. I refuse. Because you had upwards of 90% of the Black community vote one way, right? And people like to pretend like, well, that's just because you guys automatically just vote Democrat. Do you understand who we are? You obviously don't understand who we are. And I'm talking to Black folks too. In what arenas are we ever in lockstep? We fight amongst ourselves on every front. That's part of the reason why we get so much of the shit end of the stick. It's because of that. So no, it's not that we just reflexively vote Democrat. We look at it and we are pragmatic voters. When it made sense to vote Republican, we voted Republican. When it made sense to vote Democrat, we voted Democrat. We are pragmatic. So what I see is you can line up all the different demographics, and it looks real nice and pretty on these charts. But if you look at all the demographics, there was only one group that coalesced and was like, yeah, no. All the other groups were mixed in some kind of way, except for the white community, which was pretty heavy going the other direction. So the color line has always been the bright line in America. And a lot of this assessment, in my opinion, because I could be completely wrong, I don't in any way push against, Leeja's expertise. She's very intelligent and well learned. But this ain't about the economy. People keep telling you it's not about the economy, because here's how I know it's not about the economy. Every time they ask about it, the people will say, it doesn't matter what the numbers say. This is what I feel. It's not about the economy. This was always a mood thing. This was always a cultural thing. What have they been fed for the last 20 years? Actually, longer than that. Ever since it was around 2007, 2008, when Obama gained notoriety, they have been afraid of the browning of America. That's where the Great Replacement theory comes from. That's where fighting against reparations comes from. That's why every cycle there's something about us that they're fighting against. If it's affirmative action, if it's CRT, if it's whatever the DEI, it doesn't matter. Every cycle, all you need is to give conservative white folks something about us, and they will rally to the opposite. And that has always been the case. Always. That's you, that's your parents, that's your grandparents, that's your great-grandparents. It is consistent. So we can say, oh, no, it's not, they weren't feeling good about the economics. No. They still got all the wealth. Okay. The part about the economics is a true concern, but it's not the driving concern, because economics isn't what's going to make all the churches vote a certain way. Okay. So I'm tired of this thing where we pander to white inferiority, because that's what it is. Stop with this white supremacy stuff. It's white inferiority. It's this fear of consequence, this fear of loss of power, this fear of sharing. You're afraid of people who have never shown even the inkling of violence towards you. Latinos have never, other than when you try to invade their land and take it from them, they ain't ever just proactively started no fight with y'all. Despite us coming out of slavery, we ain't never riled up and tried to fight with y'all. In fact, we are known for the non-violent protest revolution thing. So this ain't about us. Stop making it about us. It's about y'all. It's about your cousin, your brother, your sister, all them. That's who it's about. Stop looking at who didn't oppose it and look for who voted for it. And then find out what's wrong there. That's why, like, and every time somebody say what Kamala could have done different, there's nothing she could have done different. That woman literally ran a perfect campaign for the period of time that she had. And now I'm going to step on some toes on the left because I love stepping on everybody's toes because I just want us to really start and look at ourselves. Okay? Whether you chose not to vote, vote third party, those are really the main two, right? Okay, the reality is each and every one of us, we have priorities and we move based on our priorities. If your priority was Palestine, for example, your priority was trans rights, your priority was black safety or black whatever. If that was your priority, and that's why you couldn't vote for the corporate Democrat, fine. That was your rationale. That's where you stood. I'm telling you, stand on it then. Because now all the consequences that flow from that, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. Forget about it. I don't care. I just do not care how you feel about any of the stuff that's about to roll downhill. Unless you're ready to do something. But what I've noticed is after this election, we went right back to business as usual. So I'm sorry, bro. I ain't trying to hijack that. Just keep rolling with sisters her videos. But I'm just saying, man, look, I'm not with this conversation as though it's like how we talked before the election, right? Because the climate is different and we knew it would be, but we said it would be okay. We said by our actions, we said whatever came to follow, we could handle it. Well, now let's handle it.
Go ahead and get into the next video. What's going to happen?
Let's talk about what this means going forward. A number of states yesterday voted to enshrine the right to an abortion in their state constitutions. That's a silver lining in an otherwise grim day. The other silver lining being that here in Minnesota, we get to keep tin walls. Yay. And Trump has said repeatedly that the question of abortion should be left to the states. States' rights is a favorite tenet of Republican beliefs when it serves their purposes. There is absolutely a world, however, where a national abortion ban could be introduced and passed. We are still waiting to see if the House is going to be majority Democrat or Republican, but we already know that there is a strong far-right coalition there. And the Senate is now controlled by a Republican majority. Whether that federal law can trump the state laws across the country protecting abortion is likely a question that will need to be litigated, given that the Supreme Court said pretty decisively in Dobbs that the decision should be with the states. But there's also a world where the Supreme Court once again overrules itself in order to allow the federal ban to move forward. And speaking of the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito will retire during Trump's term. I would if I were them. Oh, so I can ride off into the sunset, legacy intact, facing zero consequences for my clear ethical violations, go hang out full time with my billionaire friends with zero scrutiny, and profit unchecked off that intact reputation through book deals and speaking gigs, all while knowing that I will be replaced by equally, if not more, conservative justices who are much younger than me and can retain the conservative majority in the court long after I'm dead. And I'll be seen as a selfless hero by conservatives everywhere? Yes, sign me up. And with a majority in the Senate, a majority that is no longer filled by any Republicans who are willing to stand up to Trump, Trump will have very little standing in the way of his cabinet or judicial appointees, not just to the Supreme Court, but to every federal judiciary in the country. And I don't think Sonia Sotomayor retiring now is going to solve that, given the Republicans' history of blocking Supreme Court nominations by Democratic presidents. Those judicial appointments, in turn, will assist with Republican-led efforts to sail above any attempted legal challenges to whatever new batshit crazy law they want to pass. Based on what Trump has promised and what Project 2025 will call for, the manifesto for which will no doubt not only land on Trump's desk on day one, but also be distributed to every conservative member of Congress, those crazy laws, either passed by Congress or enacted through presidential executive order, will include enacting oppressively high tariffs on all goods coming from outside the U.S., a move economists the world over predict would tank not only the U.S. economy, but the entire global economy as well, leading to severe price hikes and job losses. Firing civil servants and changing their jobs to be by presidential appointment so he can insert loyalists at every agency in the government. Using the impoundment power to block federal funding to agencies, getting rid of the EPA, the Department of Education, and severely limiting the capacities of key agencies that protect consumers and regulate the safety of everything from pharmaceuticals to deli meats. Lena Khan, head of the FTC, has been hard at work suing the pants off mega corporations for their unconscionable monopolistic practices. She will be out, and any lawsuit underway will be terminated. Corporations whose billionaire owners were hard at work this election season throwing money at Trump in the hopes of this exact outcome will be able to grow unchecked, knowing they will face little to no consequences for their actions.
Yep. So that, this is where I'm saying. So there's no need to really freak about the things as they roll out. We decided that this is okay. And I'm not saying individually. Individually, we all had our different reasons and stuff like that. And like Susan said, I mean, it was this touched at a level that, like, it's too lazy to call these people racist. It's way too lazy to do that, right? Were they racially motivated? Yes. But see, I'm racially motivated. I'm not racist. Some people are racialist. There's a distinction there. So they saw or felt, more like they felt, a disturbance in their very soul about opportunities for their children, opportunities for their local community, just a shifting environment because the world is more flat than it's ever been. And America has not invested in its people or its education. And the people don't invest in their education because the wealthy elites have made higher education so unattainable or expensive. So you've dumbed down the very population and reduced hope and everything like that. Well, here's the thing. When you come from the bottom groups, we've been here, right? So we can sit there and say, well, hey, our women are Black women are very well educated. They're exceeding, right? But we also know, if we look at our community, the sickness that's also going on. At the same time our women are rising, the rest of the community is falling in. Our children's education outcomes are terrible. Our boys are being rounded up and sent off to warehousing at alarming rates. The poverty is crushing most of us, right? Now, those of us who live like me are able to not see some of it because in our bubble, everybody's kind of doing okay. But if you really look at the overall numbers and how the overall Black community is faring, it's bad. And that's why you started seeing so much leakage in the Black male population, not because they support Trump, but because they can no longer, in good faith, look at this system that has been feeding off of them and feeding off of their brothers and their fathers and their friends and say that there's any hope in this thing, right? The disenfranchisement that you see with Black men is an outcome of a deliberate attack by the conservative side of this country. It's just working. That's the thing. But the great thing about when something like this is working is you blame the victim. You don't blame the assailant. You look at the LGBTQIA community, the queer community, and you sit there and say, well, I don't know how I feel about them trans people. and you allow them to kind of get peeled off. That's part of what people are upset about with TYT is who are you willing to sacrifice, right? So you'll say you're in favor of the gays and you're in favor of the gay men and in favor of the gay women and you're okay with bisexuals and all that. But as soon as you get to trans, well, you know, if it'll protect the rest of the group, we can go ahead and sacrifice them. There ain't that many of them. But that mentality is exactly why you're able to sacrifice Latinos. It's exactly why you were able to sacrifice Haitians. Exactly why you're able to sacrifice all these different immigrants, because you're looking at it as like just simple math, right? Am I in that number, right? And that's part of what happened. We're all fighting against each other, and the people who are organized on the other side are getting what they want. You know, so hey, this is going to be some interesting times that are coming down the line. You're going to be a lot of people losing their jobs. But what I would love for people to do, I'm sorry, I'm a little overplayed. What I love for people to do is not keep staring at the bright light. Don't allow yourself to be fixated on Trump. Trump is the least of our problems. He's in now. He's the president. The people who, and we know he's lazy. We know that he doesn't have any energy. We know that he likes to be distracted by shiny things and pretty women. And you know who else knows that? The people who are going to manipulate him. The people who are going to use his cover to do some of the most horrible things. They're attacking the Department of Education. What is, you think the Department of Education is how money is flowing? It's not just that. The Department of Education has civil rights protections built into it. They're responsible for enforcing civil rights protections. You get rid of that, you no longer have equal access to education for minorities or those with disabilities. It's gone. You have an autistic child or an autistic loved one, they're not going to get care. They're not going to even get an education because now the mathematics of cruel capitalism steps in and it says, why should we invest money on people who can't contribute to the economy? That's part of what's at stake here. You know, they want to get rid of food stamps and Section 8 housing assistance, because if you're losing at this game, why should I be paying for you to continue to lose at this game? There's a lot of stuff that I understand because I'm very passionate about the Palestinian people as well. But I was telling everybody when we were coming through it, and a lot of people are also saying it. Don't let that be your red line. Don't let that be. Because how are you going to be able to help them under a certain set of circumstances? Right? How it's better to fight under more favorable ground than openly hostile ground. Now we have a much harder fight to fight. And we're not prepared. Forget midterms. Forget next election. We got a 10-year slog here to try to figure out something. And during those 10 years, the enemy will be working. You're not guaranteed to be able to vote in 4 to 6 years. But I monopolize enough time.
Let me go ahead and play the second part of what's going to happen. So sort of like what's going to happen part 2. And then I'm going to throw it to you. So it's a real short video. It's a minute and change.
Carrying out the largest deportation in history, including reinstating the Muslim ban, remain in Mexico, and other policies that saw children locked in cages at the border. This could include rescinding DACA, refugee protections, and many other policies that have allowed people to immigrate legally to this country, and the deportation of those immigrants who came in through those legal channels. If successful, the deportation plan will cost billions of dollars and will likely scoop up lawful residents and U.S. citizens in their dragnets. Mass tax cuts for the rich, which will further increase the federal deficit, all but ensuring the end to Social Security benefits. Deep cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, and all other social safety nets that millions of people rely on throughout the country. Withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement, removal of tax incentives for green initiatives, and a deep expansion of our reliance on fossil fuels. Withdrawal from NATO and a deepening divide between the U.S. and our historic allies, and more. And all of this will go largely unchecked by a judiciary that will be dominated by conservative Trump appointees from top to bottom. This is all stuff we've been talking about on this show for years at this point. And I don't mean to freak you out by presenting them all to you again, but I'm someone who tends to want to face the facts and find solutions. Today, I don't really have solutions for you, but I do have facts.
All right, Anna, it's on you.
Well, there's not a whole bunch to add at this point. I think we have been absolutely clear as to what the stakes are and what we are now looking at for the foreseeable future. And really, the only thing that I can say is find out, if you haven't already figured it out, find out what you are passionate about the most. Dedicate yourself to these things. Reach out to other people who are fighting for these things. We've all said that is how we are going to be able to put one foot in front of the other in the next several years. I am hoping that people's eyes are wider, more observant. I don't know, there are many things I don't have the answer to, and it terrifies me to think about what is going to happen to healthcare. You know, that's something that impacts me very deeply. I am doing a lot. And that's what I urge everybody else to do. Volunteer your time. I mean, if I can go from days where my head's in the toilet to days where I'm in meetings and trying to actually work with people so that women get health care in the coming years, because my state is one of those that is going to try its damn best to protect care to abortion and to other to reproductive health, I guess I should say. We have had to come to grips that there is a great percentage of people who don't care, who can hear stories about women who have to go to 3, 4, 5, 6 hospitals while they're bleeding out. And this still doesn't move them. I don't know what will. You know, that's been a question of mine for some years. You know, like when Trump got in the first time, I saw right to they're going to do what they said they're going to do for years and years and decades. They're going to go after Roe. I saw that happening so clearly. You know, we just have to just be a lot more open-eyed and realistic. That's what I was saying before. I wasn't saying that there were some good-meaning whites. I'm saying there's some awfully naive people out there who they got a big what's it called?
Wake up call.
Thank you. They got a big wake up call. And
I don't
it's
think they
time
have.
for us all to talk.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they've had the wake up call, honestly, Anna. Because like I think that right now people are shocked. I do. I believe that because we have this thing here in America where we always think somebody else will fix it. Like we all see it, so obviously this can't happen, right? And that is part of always thinking somebody else is gonna fix it. There'll be enough of us that my one voice really won't.
That's why I'm urging people to try to work, because it will take all of us working.
No, I fully agree with you. I'm in lockstep with you as far as we had to lean on each other. I'm not
Yeah.
now that each other thing. It all depends on what the situation is and how we're looking about it. Because I am definitely circling wagons at this point.
Yeah.
But when it comes to making sure that your loved ones have food on the table over the next couple years, that's gonna be us learning how to lean on each other, right? Necessity creates new bonds.
Yes.
You put a group of prisoners in a cell and they will work out a new system on how to rely on each other. The problem is they had to be put in a cell to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now you're in the cell, you have less options, less resources, less freedom. And so you're trying to find a way to share scraps. And when we didn't have to deal with scraps, we didn't want to work together. And right now, we still aren't on scraps yet. Right now, people are just scared.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right now, they've got the tornado warning sirens going off, but no one's seen the tornado yet. So once this stuff starts to hit, this is why I said that as far as a mass thing, we're nowhere near it. We're nowhere near it. Because I look at our history. I was Googling this, earlier, and I'm like, I get fixated on the 1950s and 60s civil rights movement, but that's our movement. That's the Black American movement, right? So, what about all the other movements? And there are some, but none that rival the civil rights movement. Because I'm looking and it's like they couldn't even come up with anything. They talking about India, Russia. You know what I'm saying? In America, it was almost all packed into the 60s and 70s. The women's suffrage and the civil rights movement happened at the same time. So that tells you in over 200 years of history, America don't do this.
Yeah.
You can't even use a civil war because a civil war is about economics. So if America falls into another Great Depression, that will likely trigger something akin to a civil war, but we all lose there too. We're where we are, and enough people in America either wanted it or were okay with it. And we spend a lot of times villainizing the people who wanted it. But we really also got to look at ourselves, because many of us were okay with it because it was an intellectual exercise to us. Right? We've been through bad before. We'll get through it again. You didn't go through it. Okay? The ones who went through it are really old or have already left this plane of existence. But it was a risk that many of us were willing to take. We rolled the dice, and here we go. And I'm gonna go back to what I've been harping on for years: infrastructure. We didn't build any infrastructure. Not strong enough infrastructure. It's too weak. It's too small, or it's too young. Like with the work that you and so many other valiant people are doing in the reproductive health and abortion care space, that had to get geared up real fast, real hard over the last 3 years.
Yep.
Right? It was like dusting off all the old machines and trying to get things oiled up and all that stuff, right? it's not strong enough to support what's coming. We got to still do it. You still got to do the work. It ain't ready. Black folks, we have not gotten to the point where we are okay with moving multiple generations of people back into our house. It's going to be needed. It's coming. You know?
Hold on, Piers. See, this is the second time you done did this. The second time you have touched on the next freaking video.
I'm sorry, I talked too much, and I apologize. Sincerely.
It's been 5 years, man, and we ain't used to it by now.
I'm still sorry.
Let's go ahead and let's just go ahead and get into it since it is the last video of the first hour. What can we do?
This is the part where I'm supposed to give you a pep talk and say, hey, listen, we live to fight another day. The arc of the universe bends towards justice. We can't let them win. I'm not feeling that today. I've been reconsidering my decision not to move to Europe, which I made a whole episode about. I've been wondering if there's any point to continuing this show because clearly I'm screaming into a void. I'm going to continue because I do care and I have bills to pay, but I'm just being honest about what's been going through my head and the panic I've been feeling since about 10 o'clock last night when I realized it wasn't going our way. Saying, hey, let's keep fighting is not in my heart right now, and it's fine if it's not in yours either. This is America. The fight is very hard when fully over half the electorate lives a very different life from the other half. We don't interact. We don't live in the same areas. We don't consume the same media. We possess values that are fundamentally different. We have worldviews that are diametrically opposed. I've made optimistic episodes about how important it is to talk to people you don't agree with, but today at least, I'm feeling pretty pessimistic about any of that mattering. But I am a solutions-oriented person, if nothing else, so despite feeling a combination of numbness and despair, and not being in a place to give y'all a pep talk right now, I am interested in talking solutions. The reality is, we cannot rely on the federal government to do anything for us. We cannot rely on the federal courts to check them either. At the very least, we can rely, at least in part, on, hopefully, some adherence to the central Republican tenet of states' rights. We have to focus locally. I made a whole episode on how to get involved in local politics. Please check that out. It is more important now than ever. Who's your governor? Who's your mayor? Who are your state representatives? Who represents you on city council? Follow their social media. Put their numbers on speed dial. Save their email addresses. Find a local advocacy organization doing work you care about. They typically track local legislation and will have information so you can learn what's happening locally and reach out to your representatives to talk about the issues. Push for non-winner-take-all elections like ranked choice voting to help grow the voices of third parties. Your voice is so much louder at the local level than it is on the national level, especially if you are part of a group of like-minded people who you can represent when you go visit your legislator and say, hey, me and this entire group of people feel this way about this piece of legislation. That has a powerful amount of sway. In places like here in Minnesota, we did push further right in this election, but Minneapolis is still overwhelmingly blue, and the momentum to the right isn't too big to overcome. If you live in a red state, this will still be an uphill battle. If I'm being completely honest with you, if I lived in a red state, I would leave. I know that's not possible for many people for so many reasons, but I would do my fucking darndest to figure out a way to make it work. But that's just because today, at this moment in time, I'm so fucking exhausted. I would tap the fuck out if faced with those odds. Maybe at the very least move to a blue part of your red state. But despite those odds, there is progress that can be made at the local level, even in the reddest of states. Whether that's finding the blue dot city or making your voice as loud as possible despite the sea of red, there is power in keeping it local. Because despite my exhaustion and numbness right now, there is a little spark inside me that feels like wanting to be ungovernable. I don't mean like anarchists burning down buildings. I mean like Sinead O'Connor ungovernable. Shave your head. Tear up pictures of the Pope. Wear weird shit. Be unapologetically loud at city council meetings. I don't know. For now, though, I'm going to end this video a little short. I'm going to go lay on the couch. And that's okay, too. Take care of yourself and the people closest to you. That is a radical act in itself.
So, to say, I love that last video. I'm speaking just for myself. I love that last video because that's exactly how I felt. Down to a T. I was at least a lot better than this. I was the kumbaya of the group. The rally around and get strong and let's fight. And we got to get together. We got to... Man, I'm going to tell you, I was not feeling none of that. None of it. My next video, because I love to say I always have receipts. What did my next video have right after the election? And I'll never forget it. Probably to the day I die. My next video was, I'm just here to watch the world burn. I mean, I was so over it. I was so over it. And I said, as time goes on, because me and Theus was talking about this after the show, I could have easily just said, just give me time. Just give me time. I'm going to switch back to the we need to work together thing. We need to rally around. We need to protect each other. But I'm just not feeling that right now. It was just, that's how it was. Not gonna lie to you. Was it right or wrong? Be honest with you, don't care. I'm telling you how I felt.
Yeah, I don't think it's a right or wrong thing, bro.
I know, but
People took a gut punch. People took a gut punch, and that's how some people reacted to it, you know. And they're still there. Now, the ones who are still there, I'm a little worried about y'all. Y'all need to start bucking up and start moving, bro. It's been 2 months, but I get it.
I'm almost. I think I ain't gonna say. I think I took too much time. Well, no, I need that time off. You said earlier today, Theus, I really ain't been looking into Trump like that at all. I ain't even know about the Greenland thing until somebody made a joke about it. I'm like, what happened? What? Huh? What about Greenland? I ain't know anything about that.
He wants all of North America.
Honestly, I still don't know anything about it. I just saw a little meme on Facebook and went, oh, you try to do something with, okay. Wow, that's some nice shoes. I wonder how much those cost. I mean, where I'm at, bro.
Yeah, I'm just saying the distinction in it all is not following Trump. And I'm not talking to people out there. Not following Trump is not the same as turning a blind eye, right? It's not allowing yourself to get sucked into him, right? The reality is this man is talking real reckless about Canada, Greenland, and Panama.
Panama, yeah.
Right? But the reality is he ain't going to do none of those things because there's nothing in it for him. But it's enough for him to start getting people talking. He's really good at this, getting people talking, getting people looking in all these different directions while the grift goes on. And he can rob the coffers, and Elon can get richer, and the other billionaires in the cabinet can get richer, and he can create a mini Russia. And he's okay with that. He wants to style himself in that light. He wants to go down in history. He's not a fool. He knows that his lifetime is running short, right? He's probably arrogant enough to think that he's got another 25 years in him, but he wants to make sure he goes down in history. And it doesn't matter if he goes down as a villain or as a hero. He just wants to go down in history. Yeah. And that's why he flip-flops so much from doing decent things to horrible things, because he don't care. He just wants the history, you know? Mm-hmm. But we still have to pay attention. And the thing that I'm trying to find a way to convey well, which I'm not good at, a lot of people were saying, I just can't do it. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm this and I'm that. And I guess it's because we're looking at it different. I'm looking at it as I'm in the ring. I'm fighting for my family. I'm fighting for my community. And to an extension, I'm fighting for my country. This is my home. I don't get to say, ouch, that hurt, and not get back in the ring. I don't get to go sit in the corner and say I'm not coming back out.
Yeah.
You don't have that
Right?
luxury.
I don't have that luxury. What I can do, though, is realize I showed up for an MMA fight trying to do that old Roxbury boxing mess. And I got my clock clean. So the problem isn't that I was in the fight. The problem was how I was fighting. I'm not fighting the way that makes the most sense. So I'm trying to find where that angle is and get with those of more like mine who have more experience in the area that I'm trying to go, so they can train me up, so they can give me cover and protection while I'm trying to learn, and I can take my step out there as a follower and then eventually a leader. But I can't abandon the fight. And that's one of the things that the left is so immature as far as how we do opposition. We got beat in the fight, but we have not been put out of the fight. We can get back in, right? You got one knockout. You've been knocked out once. Okay. A lot of prize fighters got one knockout. Get back in the ring. But too many, I hear it on all these different things where they're belly aching and they just, they're giving up on all things politics. They're giving up on all this. And I'm like, your enemy's not.
You know what? Okay, let's meet them where they're at. Okay. So here's my attempt. My weak attempt, but I'm going to give it an attempt. If there's any reason why you should stay in the fight, it's because your enemy wanted you to quit. They always want you to quit. They always want you to give up. They always been wearing you down and wearing you down and wearing you down and wearing you down and wearing you down year after year after year after year after decade after generation. They want you to quit. They want you to surrender. You are more easily controlled when you're not willing to fight back.
And that's something that makes...
Because let me make something perfectly clear. They still want stuff from you. Okay? Don't get it twisted. I don't mean I want you to quit and go away. No. I want you to quit. But I still need your labor. I still need your brain. I still need your money. I still need your infrastructure as long as the infrastructure is for...
I just need you to be compliant.
Yeah, I still need you. I just need you domicile. I just need you to just trust me. And I really don't care if you trust me or not. I just don't want you to fight that. Just do as I say.
Yeah. And that's a hard lesson that some of my brothers and sisters don't like to hear. But it's
I was talking
I need us
talking to my brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I need us to look at reality for what it is. We are a conquered group. We have been conquered. Okay? That's some of the friction that we run into between us and our African brothers and sisters, is because they look at us and they see us as conquered people. Were they colonized? Yes. But they didn't lose their culture and their connections. So they can view themselves in a different light. They were resistant. We were conquered. We were subjugated. And there's always been resilience within us, and we're a fighting group. But that's part of the rub. So there's no shame in being defeated. You just were up against a stronger foe. But now, acknowledge to yourself, if to no one else, that you were defeated, and then get angry about it. You need People, hey, y'all need to be angry. Stop this mess where you're hiding, hoping that eventually the anger will pass and you'll be able to think clearly again, and then you'll get to work. No, you won't. You need to move while you're angry. Because if you wait until you're not angry anymore, you've gained acceptance. And it's real hard to fight from it from a level of acceptance. So, like Leeja was saying, okay, if in the realm of politics, it's time to get serious. Here's a real practical way you can do this. A lot of the people that you're going to want to talk to are going to be extremely disenfranchised with our electoral system.
Mm-hmm.
Because they fall into the exact same trap that most of us have fallen into, where you focus on the presidential, like you're focusing on the big ticket. And because the president, the Supreme Court, and the Congress are so irrevocably corrupt and broken, it makes you tap out of everything. So what you can do instead is pick something. Pick, I don't know, what's a good, almost irrelevant, well, not irrelevant, but find out who the comptroller of your community, of your city is. I don't know, or something like that. Pick one of those things, right? Because there's obviously something to it because people are running for it. Find out what that measure of victory was. How many votes did that person win with? And what you'll probably find is they won with like 20,000 votes, something crazy, some stupid low number. Attack that. Give people something that they can put their hands on and say, oh, it can work. Now, here's how you have to do it, though. You got to get out and start talking to people. You got to talk to people who you don't ask them what their political affiliation is or any of that mess. Don't do that. Talk to people who are frustrated with the system. And then we can start working towards, all right, well, look, here's what we're going to do. We don't need no money. We don't need any sponsors. We don't need any donors, right? Because at the end of the day, you really only need your vote. It's just money allows it makes it easier, right? But if you're talking about a local election where you need 25,000 votes in order to win a seat, you quietly talk to people and you get those 25,000 people to show up and vote for that position. Now people see, and 25,000 is a small number, especially where I'm at, where you got 1 million people in my county alone. Okay. So talk to those people. Go out there, win that one little race, or win that one judgeship, or win, you know what I'm saying? Give people something to believe in. And that will catch fire. And now they'll be like, oh, so there is a way to win. I just haven't seen it done before. But now I've seen it and I was part of it. So if you want to do the political angle, that's something you can work on. If you want to talk about more about organizing within your community like Anna does, what's something that's passionate? What's something you care about? Right? I care about education. So that's why I started a company for education, and I'm trying to build that because that's what I'm passionate about. Anna works with people who are dealing with different types of disabilities and emotional struggles because she's passionate about it. Get with them. Let that thing grow inside of you. Right? So it's just the whole mentality of I'm just going to tap out. I don't understand it. I don't understand when people say they need a break when they ain't doing shit. I don't understand when people say that they're tired when they haven't been busy. I don't understand it because the consequences your grandmother or your mother or your child or your next door neighbor's child or that person that you call a friend and you say that that's your friend, but you won't get off your ass to try to help make things easier for your friend. You're not serious about it. You just want to talk about it. You bullshitting. Right? So I'm like, hey, find something and do something, man. And don't worry about if somebody else agrees with it, because there are people out there who agree with whatever it is you agree with.
Yeah.
Go find them.
And I'm gonna let you have the last word since Thea really tore up the no cussing rule in the first hour.
It's 9:12.
I
did curse in the first 15 minutes though.
Anna, please say something. I don't even care at this point if you just start mumbling. I just don't even care. Just
Mumbling, huh? The part that I was really thankful to hear was the get your thinking back local.
yeah.
Check out who's on your city council. Check out who's on the education council. Look at your board. Look at your
PTA.
whatever. Really. There's so many different things that make our cities run, that make our states run. And you know what? Like, if you care about infrastructure in the old way, the highways, the bridges, and all that, when was the last time you were picking up trash? When was the last time you were out doing something for the environment? When was the last time you were at a soup kitchen? When was the last time you were reading to a kid? There's so many things that we could be doing that need doing right in our backyards, or at least in our cities, or in our closest city. And yeah, some of us are a little bit more rural than others. But we've not been looking for long enough. I keep coming back to it. It's time to open our eyes collectively. Because life isn't changing a whole lot for me. What was before the election and now what's happening after? Like, I'm kind of where Theus is. The whole, I don't understand why people tap out because you've been handed a resound defeat. Well, what were you doing? And what are you willing to do now? There's so many suggestions out there.
All right, everybody. That is our first hour. I knew it was going to go long, and I just didn't care. I appreciate everything that was said.
I do too.
Again, please go check out Leeja Miller's videos. They are some very good videos. I know for a fact I'll probably be doing a couple of more as the year goes on. I'm so happy that Ada said, Leeja said you can use any of her videos anytime you want. I'm like, I dig it.
And I do want to say again, thank you for that blanket permission, Lisa. That is very awesome.
Thank you, Leeja, because you do amazing research, and I get
Yes, you do.
benefit from it. So thank you.
So we're gonna go ahead into the second hour. Like I said, it's gonna be real short because I'm really trying to change my sleep pattern. So I'm really trying to get my butt in the bed. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the second hour with an Am I the A-hole, a Mafia video of the week, and then we're just gonna jump right into Foxy's video of the week. 3-minute break. Wait a minute. One last comment before I go. Damn it. This is why you all my family. Boy. Hey. Susan, hey, you're our family too. Thank you. You've been here darn near from the very beginning. Thank you so much. You, because I don't even know what time it is that you at, so you put in the work to actually come and watch us. So, woo, thank you. Because I can honestly tell you, I know it's a.m. wherever you are.
3 or 4 a.m.
3 or 4 a.m. So you put in the work.
That's dedication. Yeah.
That is dedication. So trust me, I appreciate it. Oh, Tracy, y'all should congratulate me. I behaved the whole time.
Well, we going into the second hour. You ain't got to behave no more.
You got that right. 3-minute break to reboot and refresh, and we'll be back on the other side. Stay tuned.
Living for weekends, wishing I could take a break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna be a lost girl and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate above the ground and make eye contact with clouds. Now I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. I wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. I always stay dreaming, never imagine I lose my spark. Living in this crazy time, putting back the pieces of my mind. I know how to run from the dark and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate into the clouds. I'm so high above the ground. I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. I wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. Higher to above you, I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free. I wanna be free. I wanna be free. I wanna be free.
We are back. Hey, Anna, that was quick. We are back, and without further ado, let's go ahead and pay those bills. Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/Tracy Media Fan. Help support Tracy in all of her endeavors. Please do not forget to go to Anna Hart's website, BorelliEtc.com. Learn something that you didn't think you need to know, but you should. Please do not forget to go to Thea's website, OurUnitedCore.com. Communities build movements. And if you need to reach me, you can do so at radtp@outlook.com. That's RADTP@outlook.com. And let's go ahead and get into the Mama Heart Hour.
Very good, very good. No, I'm gonna disappear again. I'm waiting for the kettle to boil.
Ah, okay. Trust me, I can live better with I'm going to get some tea than I'm just not feeling this shit today. I'm not coming on. So 5 by me. So am I the a-hole? So So I didn't even know if this was a real request or not. But yeah, I guess it is. You're not getting my social security number.
I, 27 male, have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, 31 female, for almost a year now. This evening, she sat me down and said she needs to have a serious conversation with me, and she asked for my social security number. I said, absolutely not. Why would you need that? She told me about her ex-boyfriend that was basically living a double life. He had a bunch of criminal charges in his past that he'd never told her about, and eventually exposed her to some sketchy and dangerous behavior before she broke things off after he cheated. I said, okay, thank you for telling me that, but what does that have to do with my social security number? She said ever since then, she's had her friend that works for the federal government run background checks on people to make sure they're safe. And because our relationship is progressing, she needs to know I'm a safe partner for her, so she wants my social security number to check my criminal history. Now, for the record, I don't even have a parking ticket. I'm a nerd and a gym rat. All I do is work, go to school, play Dungeons and Dragons, come home, watch anime, rinse and repeat. So I don't care about a background check. She won't find anything, but I'm not giving out my social. I don't feel comfortable enough providing that to her friend. When I said that, she got upset and said, I don't understand what women go through, and it's about safety. I admitted that she's right. I don't have any idea what women go through, but that doesn't mean I'm giving my social out to a complete stranger. She says he isn't a stranger. He's one of her best friends and married to a close friend of hers. And I said, honey, that's great, but I don't know him. I don't trust him because I don't know him. That's my information you're asking for, but you can trust him with your personal information if you want. But no one I don't know is getting my social security number or critical details. It's just not happening. And she said that our relationship isn't going to be able to progress unless I give him my social security number because she needs to know that she's safe, and she's offended that I don't trust her taste in friends. Hold on. Time out. Listen, Bish.
That's gaslighting.
That is gaslighting, but also she can't be offended that you don't trust her taste in anything after the story she just told you. I got up and left at that point and told her I respect her concerns, but her past trauma doesn't give her the right to try and strong-arm me into giving out sensitive information to somebody I don't know just because he works for the federal government and has access to a database. That was a long line. I used to work for the federal government, so I can say from experience, everyone working there isn't some wonderful person. I'm not assuming he's a monster or anything, but just working for the feds doesn't prove anything to me. She called me insensitive and hasn't spoken to me since. Personally, I feel like she was gaslighting me into giving her what she wants, but I'm not so sure.
Okay, Am just said that the story couldn't play, so I explained what happened. So OP and Mel was sat down with his girlfriend of less than 1 year. The girlfriend asked OP, I need your social security number. OP said, why? She went into this story about how she was dating a guy and he was doing bad things with bad people and everything else, and it just got so bad that she got out of it. So she has a friend that works for the government who does background checks, and she needs OP's social security number so she could do a background check on OP. OP said, no, you're not getting that information. And of course, she went into the whole, you don't trust me, or no, she literally never said she did, you don't trust me. She literally kept going about, you don't trust my taste in friends and everything. He's a close personal friend who's dating a close personal friend and everything else, and he works for the government. He kept saying no, and you don't know the strife that women went through, which OP agreed with. No, I don't know the strife that women go through. You're still not getting my social security number. To the point that OP just walked out and left. And the question was, I don't know the things that women go through, so am I the a-hole? Let me actually put it a different way, OP. I'm just the fundamental thing. I'm just saying Obviously, you don't need somebody's social security number to do a background check. Oh, you
Yeah.
Google that crap all the time. I mean, it's really that simple. But I thought of this just literally a few seconds ago. How do you know the story that she was saying about her ex-boyfriend is even true? You don't know this woman. It's less than a year. That whole story could be false just to get your social security number. But my main concern with you, OP, is that conversation that you had with your girlfriend went on way too long. Like, seriously, it went on way too long. You are not going to get my social security number. Why? I have to explain to you why you not get that big of a personal information about me. I don't have to explain it to you.
What?
I don't need to explain that to you.
But she wants to know why, Marlon.
She can walk
Just
all
to
she.
help her understand, Marlon.
Oh.
That is not the same from yesterday, and you know it. That is not the same.
So they don't live together?
You have to watch the
I
show.
don't know if it was in the story that they live together or not, but
no, they're not
Okay.
going to live together. I don't think that ever came up. But that went on way too long, and y'all have to watch the show from yesterday. Thea's trying to be funny. It is not the same thing, and you know it. You do not. You are not good.
I just need to understand.
I've been there for 20.
You have often said that, Marlon.
Not for my social security number.
Oh, so okay, so it's situational.
Certain situations, I just happen to be the person. and wait a minute, but this did I not say? But did I not say? Let's be totally honest. Did I not say I'm just doing it out of curiosity? I don't think it would change the outcome.
No, you said that.
Okay.
But you've also said in prior iterations about how, you need to understand why. So you're going to ask more questions. You're not going to just take the first answer. That's what I was picking at you about. It's cool.
Certain circumstances, I need to know what the situation is.
My thing is, it sounds like that he's dating a Nigerian prince. So I bet she also works for the FBI. It's just wild. It's just
because he was arguing from such a bad point.
No, he was logical.
Yeah, well, I don't even think logical because he was arguing with the fact that I don't know what your friend is, so I don't know him. And I'm like, no. So you can meet him and be cool with him. You still should not be giving up your social security number.
No. What he was doing was he was trying to get himself out of this conversation in the least damaging way possible. Right? He was just basically saying, no. And since you need more information, I'm going to keep telling you why what you're asking me for is silly. Right? But he didn't want to come right out and go at her because he cares about her and he thinks there's still a relationship. He just thinks this is a disagreement. Right? So he's like, no, think about it. Come on, think about it, ma'am. How I know where he worked. Right? Because at some point I was waiting in his whole back and forth thing he was doing with her. I was waiting him to be like, okay, so your friend works for the government. What government office lets you just randomly do background checks?
They don't.
Thank you.
They don't.
So that means your friend is abusing his access to do this, which now makes him untrustworthy.
And Parker, to answer your question, can he probably look that information up without having social security number?
Yeah.
Yes.
To an extent.
Been verified, anybody?
There are websites that's dedicated to this. You got to pay for it.
Yeah, but I mean, even then you're looking at the accuracy of the information. So what she's hitting at is like she's getting that consumer credit reports.
That good government report,
Yeah, that heavy one. Like when I worked in the banking industry, I had to go through the heavy ones, right? They ran everything. So no, there's different levels to it, but no. Yeah, I'm with Tracy. Give me your social security. No. Well, why not? Because I said so.
That's my social security number.
You know, the only person who there's two people I can think of. Well, I guess technically it's three, but there's only two people I can think of that just have my social. That's my mom and my wife.
Hmm.
That's
See,
it.
that's funny. I know my mom has it. Like, duh. I don't know Foxy's social security number. Foxy
You don't know hers, but I bet you she got access to yours.
No, but we have access. We have access to it. At the very least, we have the last 4 digits because the majority give you the last 4 digits of your
No,
social
that don't
security.
count. Don't know about me.
But we have access to it. It's not like we hide it from each other. And honestly, if she asks, here you go. But
that's your wife, though.
That's your wife.
Thank you.
And it's not even like your new wife. This is your wife.
20 years compared to you, bro. You ain't even there a year yet.
You don't even know what her fart smells like yet.
Almost a year, and you don't need to. Almost a year. That's disgusting. Almost a year. Bruh, look.
I messed Marlon up.
Yep, you totally wrecked his mind.
Everybody. I'm not going to jump on you, OP. I'm really not, because it sounds like you handle your business. It just sounds like you put this on "Am I the A-hole" just to get a story out.
Yeah, I think the story is fake.
I don't think you literally thinking I'm going to give up my social security number. Am I wrong? I just think they have stories like that. Like, I know I'm not an a-hole, but I just want to get this story out, and I think this is what your story is. I just want to get this foolishness out to everybody that this woman actually asked for my social security number to get a background check on me. So, and be honest with you, because she need a new car and she knows she.
But let's hypothetically say that she's legit, and this is what she thinks she needs, because before she takes it to the next level of falling in love with you, you want to make sure that you're actually who you say you are. Right? Let's just say that that's real.
Why didn't you ask any of the questions where you would have gotten this info? Like, okay, what would be on a background report? Have you ever been in trouble with the law? Like, what has your past been like? How many, I don't know, jobs? I'm trying to think what the hell's on a background report.
You can ask a lot of different questions. And now, granted, she would just say that that's not the same as getting it from another resource, but I'm just saying, let's say that that's all that's legit. Has she already gave up the cookie? Because if she gave the cookie, she didn't care about that background check before the cookie guy gave out. You know what I'm saying? Like, ma'am,
I can ask
things you have to take on faith and work your way through.
I want to answer Anna's question. Why did she not ask him that? If we have to listen to the story she gave about the ex-boyfriend who she thought was a certain way, and he turned out to be a certain way, she's going to use the excuse of, well, how do I know what you're saying is true? Because that's what I thought about the last boyfriend. So
and that's why I think what you said is more accurate, Marlon, in that there is no ex-boyfriend. She's the scammer.
Yes.
But let's say the ex-boyfriend was a scammer. Now it actually makes more sense that she feels leery about guys in because she knows that you generally follow a type. And so she could have just fallen back into her type. But this isn't the way you get to it.
No.
But I'm going, okay, then let's use that logic, Biz. Then I'm going to use the argument, OP, then use the argument exactly what Dusty said. The girlfriend said, you do not trust my decision-making about friends. You cannot at 1 minute say you picked a boyfriend who you thought was cool, but had that shady of a background. You didn't say he was a cheater.
He was a scam artist.
He was a scam artist. He hung with bad people. No, I don't trust your decision-making when it comes to people. You have proven it to be wrong once. That's why we're here now. And you know, you're not even skipping. Can I have your middle name so I can do a background checkup? Which, by the way, lady, that's creepy. Ew. But still, cool. Can I have your middle name so I can do a background checkup? No, you want a social security number so you can do a background check on them. A social security number not only gives you criminal history, but let me preface this by saying that that's the least it gives you now. See, a name and a number gives you a criminal history. Social security number gives you criminal history, credit, debt. I mean, it goes into real.
I can create a whole new identity off of it.
Yeah. So, you're asking for too much, but I'm trying to give you the benefit of a doubt. I think you're a scammer. I mean, seriously, I just think you do.
I think she's a scam artist. But then the other side that there could be is because this younger generation is a little different. And they have made almost everything transactional. So she might be thinking in that vein. Like as a business, the next step in the interview application process. Are you ready to become my serious boyfriend? Well, answer these questions. Right? But you know, whatever.
Yeah, no. And I try not, I told everybody I'm going to stop speaking in the third person because I found when I looked through my videos, I found that it comes off as kind of arrogant and just non-cynical. But I will have to say this. So I am speaking to OP. If somebody ask you for an illogical thing and then automatically switches to and your relationship is attached to you saying yes or no, then I think it's time to go. Because you don't want that type of relationship. And honestly, this exactly what you said. That's transactional. You're asking for an illogical thing, and now that you're not going to get it, now she feels that she has to attach the whole relationship to this illogical thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, okay, no, and it was nice knowing you.
Yeah, this is just a young situation where he sidestepped the Nigerian prince email. That's what he did. So good job, young man. Your job will be very proud of you because that means that you're probably able to check your emails and avoid getting scammed and fished. So good job, young man.
Last word, Anna.
Okay, so I'm really going on blind. I can't have a feeling about the story as to whether it's real or not. I didn't get to feel anything about, how the person worded it. I can say though that there are a lot of stories of women who were hurt by men. There are also quite a few stories of men hurt by women. And so what is the proper way to risk your heart, be vulnerable, and find a person that is worthy of all that? There were a few things in there where I'm thinking, well, brother, you want to get out of there? Because I don't have a very good track record when it comes to picking men. Or you just need to also talk to her a little bit more, because if there is any credence to the, hey, I was hurt before, you know, I know people who their trust is very tenuous. They're very open about this because they've been burned in the past, and usually can only really start opening up very slowly, and it takes a lot of talking. It takes a partner who is going to be patient, open. I'm not saying give your social security number out, though. Get to know the person you're dating. You should be dating at first. Get to know them. Ask them questions. And if something doesn't feel right, there's usually a reason. You know, I'd say people don't trust their own instinct enough because they're afraid to be alone.
Yes.
Or they're afraid to make the wrong call.
Right, you get stuck in indecision. Just
But you had asked, you know, how do you approach this, right? And I'm like, the same way people have always approached it throughout human existence. It's called trial and error.
yeah,
You know,
true.
you know, you got to risk something if you want to get something. Don't risk your social security number. But
and let me add, I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to make the wrong decision. And sunk time fallacy is the three things.
Yeah, too. I don't understand that one, but I get
it's a thing. It really is a thing. I know you don't understand it. I don't understand it too, but it's basically.
No, I understand it conceptually.
Yeah,
it's
I know you understand the definition of it. I'm with you with I don't understand. Okay, and I'm putting 5 years. Well, but then again, you're talking to somebody who mama was so old school that I keep in heart. There are people that come into your life for a reason, for a season, and for a lifetime. So 5 years, and well, we didn't stay together. We throw it away 5 years. No, apparently you was here for a season, and the season is up. So, yeah. Does it? Let's go ahead and just move on.
Yeah, but it is hard out there. I ain't gonna say I hear enough of it, and it's far too prevalent for me to dismiss it. You know, the generations have changed. You know, I came up in Gen X. It was a different kind of time. You know, we had to interact with each other. We had to, you rely on human intelligence, I guess you could say. And then now you got people where they think. See, this is where I'm a little critical of the younger generations. They think they've learned the lessons that we had to go through. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You think you understand it. So you're trying to avoid some of the pitfalls that we had to go through. But those pitfalls are required, right? Like you have to learn how to navigate other people if you want to have another person in your life. So the fact that you're trying to mitigate all of the pitfalls of dealing with another person and then complain that you're lonely, you know, you by trying to take the shortcut, you ended up in a bad destination. You know? But it's bad. It's bad out there, and it's not just an individual foible, right? Like,
but
no,
you're staying in a toxic relationship.
Oh, I'm talking about people who can't get into the relationship.
Right.
Forget toxic. They can't get one.
Well,
because the world's different. The world is different. You got selection what is it, selection bias or whatever the right term is. You think you have an abundance of options because everything is at your fingertips. When the reality is what you're missing is genuine connection. So whenever you're physically around another person, you're awkward because you don't know what to do with them, right? You think it's okay, well, let's have sex, right? You don't understand all that mess that has to go into two human beings navigating their two lived experiences to say, hey, you compliment me in the ways that feels good. So they don't have that. It's like watching two robots try to date or something. I don't know, but it's tough. It's tough. I feel for them. I really do. Hopefully their children will start the shift back towards something. But yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. You risk your heart every damn time. Know that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why you need to follow the Theus Robinson dating method.
Mafia video of the week. She changed her hair color. That's one of Theus's rules.
No, that's not one of my rules.
That is one of your
that wasn't a rule. I was telling you how it runs up against one of my rules, but it itself is not a rule, right? You come in and you got black hair, and then next thing I know, you got like a shade of burgundy to your hair. Okay, if I like it, I like it. You come in with blue hair, I don't like blue hair. You're a girlfriend. I can break up with you, right? That's what I'm saying. I think that when you're dating, you reserve the right to break up for any reason, no matter how big or how small, because this is the trial period. Get out now.
Yeah, that's why.
If you dating somebody and you already trying to change their behavior and change how they are, as opposed to finding out if their behavior and the way they are suits you, then you are wrong. You're the wrong one. So get out. Let that person continue to evolve in their own right without him having to, because everybody's personality isn't as strong as everybody else's, right? And I have a pretty strong personality, even though I'm very laid back. I have a very strong personality. So if I'm dating you and I'm trying to impose upon you what I deem to be acceptable, I could be actually damaging you, right? Because what if we don't work out? We don't work out. You just spent months trying to conform to what you think I want.
Yeah.
You're only good for me. And we didn't work. Right? That to me is like super selfish. Super selfish. So if you know that this person is more of a free spirit than you are bargaining for, get out and let them continue as uninterrupted as possible. Because somewhere out there, they're going to find a better match. I don't blame you, Susan. I really don't. Sometimes I marvel at my wife until I realize, she's actually the one in a lot more control than I thought. Yeah, you realize that. You wake up a little bit. She can put up with me because she's already trained me.
All right, everybody. One more political stance here, just a heads up on what it's going to look like going forward. But to be honest with you, we've already been here before.
I have 2% Nigerian. I did a video yesterday addressing specifically Black women.
Why'd you do that?
I just wanted to see how long my video would last before being taken down.
So you knew.
A woman, we have blazed these trails together.
I'm gonna stop you right there. You didn't, okay? The trail of a Black woman and a white woman aren't even on the same path. As a matter of fact, I'd have to argue that The black woman's path has to avoid the white woman's path for her own safety.
We did this together. We need to stand together.
You use the term we quite a bit in this, trying to cluster all women, and that's not the case, because if it was, you'd just be saying women. You'd just be saying women. After that, you choose to start blaming black women for alienating themselves or separating themselves, and I feel like you don't understand that that's a mere survival requirement, not instinct, requirement.
Why are you alienating?
Historically, white women have shown their fangs to dissuade, we'll call it. And those fangs come in many forms. Think crying to gain sympathy. Yes, they're at the park menacingly, existing again. Or even starting off videos like this.
Dear black women, a high percentage of allies.
A high percentage of it. What does your allyship look like besides calling them out and then saying you're doing this?
Like, why are you doing this? Separation will lead nowhere.
It's so ingrained. You have blinders on like a horse and you can't even see that you're the oppressor. You're doing it right now.
And what constitutes white?
What do you mean what constitutes white? You know what constitutes as white, right? You have to know. You have to know when you check that little box on that form or you fill it out and write American. Like, you have to know, right?
Like, what? Where do you draw the line? Only certain black people? Because I have 2% Nigerian.
Oh, it's still white.
Am I allowed in? I think we all should be allowed in because we're women.
Yeah, I can't believe you actually not only said it, but watched it back and you were like, I'm putting this online. I know a manager hates to see you come in. What do you mean let you in? Let you into what? What part of the experience is it that you're craving?
I don't know if you noticed, but the world is still being run by men.
It's like coding every other line here with like condescending.
Women had nothing to do with slavery.
There it is. It wasn't me, guys. I'm one of the good ones. I've never benefited from the system designed around us. One of the reasons we struggle to fill the gap in intersectionality is the lack of social awareness. You're exhibiting this exact behavior right now.
Yeah, it's cool. Obviously he's got black friends, but but what's funny to me, it's funny to me just because I tell y'all, I consider myself a studier of people and people groups, primarily people groups. I don't pay too close attention to individuals, but it's something about, especially the American culture, but no, it's not even the white American culture. It's just European culture. They got to be at every damn thing. Every damn thing. Okay? During slavery, so we talk about the history on the American side. During slavery, we weren't even able to congregate. You couldn't have more than one of us anywhere without white supervision. We couldn't even have church. Church service was the only time we didn't have to have white supervision. And they fixed that because they started making sure that they were there for that too. Here's a test. Your job, if you work for a big company, probably has like a business group for black people. Probably has a business group for women. Probably has a business group for Latinos, and so on and so on and so forth. You swing by any one of them and you will find at least one white person in every last one of them groups. Every last one of them. Okay? So it's just what it is. But for her, she's incredibly tone deaf and crazy because she's so wrapped up in her grievance of, but I want to be there. If I want to be there, how dare you? Good sir, tell me that I can't be there, right? I want in. So it's like that's all it is to her. That's all it is.
Okay.
You won't let me be there.
No, I can't stand people who just throw words out there. It just doesn't make any sense. I cut this lady off a long time ago with.
Well, she's a black lady. She's 2% Nigerian.
Woman, you about as white as. Anyway, my point is, I want to be there. And I'm so glad it is the second hour. Shit, where the fuck is there? There, where? Where is there? See, this is the part
Wherever
where
you're telling me I can't be.
Mm-hmm.
we never tell you can't be nowhere. You just throwing shit. You are literally just throwing words out there, hoping that it'll stick.
No, that lady has been told she can't be part of the club.
Yeah, she's been told
many times.
Yes, she's been told.
Then say what the club is. Don't just sit there and go, you won't let me in and I'm 2% Syrian. What the fuck was the pulling down your glasses for? You ain't black because your eyelids are black. What are you doing?
No, that's the school mom look.
Excuse me, one more thing. Do me a favor. I need you to stop acting like a raging lunatic while you driving. You idiot. I need you to pull over because if you're going to be psycho your ass on the damn shoulder. I don't need you on the road being this little psycho woman that's talking about 2% Nigerian and then pulling your glasses off so we can look at, I don't even know what. Was we supposed to be looking into your eyes? What was we supposed to look at? So can I get in? No.
So she's a strong 2%. It's not like a weak 2%. It's strong 2%. See,
you're still white.
No.
Which is fine, but just don't sit there and think 2% gets you into the club.
But the problem here is just about access. It's about access.
Oh,
pay attention to the culture. Who disproportionately nutted up about being told you had to wear a mask? Who disproportionately nutted up about being told that trained professionals will determine the curriculum for education and not random parents? Who disproportionately showed their entire whole ass when they lost an election? Okay, it's about being told no when you don't believe you should be told no. That's what it is, right? So it happens all the time. I don't care. Go on your job and tell your supervisor. No, you ain't got to be your supervisor. Tell a supervisor or manager no. Watch how fast they marshal their forces to make your life a living hell just because you told them no. Doesn't matter what it was about. So yeah, it's a deep cultural rot that they got to deal with, and she's older too, so she's baked in to where she kind of feels, entitled. So
how old do you think she is? I wasn't able to gauge.
Really bad at gauging white women's ages. I can do better with white men than I can white women, because white women tend to look older than what they actually are. Like, she might only be 50. She presents as 60 something to me, but she would probably be offended that I said that. She's probably like 50 years old. I don't know.
Also, Susan, 2% Nigerian isn't 2% Black American.
She don't care about that.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Nigerian, because this is her rationale. Nigerian, Africa. Where do Black American ancestors come from? Africa. Thus, the 2% Nigerian, these are 2% Black American.
She don't even think that far, bro. She just see black. And on that particular point, I'm not even really going to dog her for that, because I think that's actually almost natural. If it's not your people group, you don't understand a lot of the nuance in a different people group, right?
Like that literally was my point. Like,
no, but she ain't gonna go through the whole.
I know that. That's my point. I know that. I was throwing logic to it. I know she wasn't, but that was her connection to Nigerian Black America. Like, she could have said Swahili. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't. She could have said, I'm 2% Nigerian and 1% Native American. So I am the walking melting pot of America. She literally would go there with it.
And the only way she could say she's 2% Nigerian is because she did one of them 82 in me or 32, whatever the number is in me thing where they
23 in
there you go.
or
That
ancestry
or ancestry, yeah. You know, because at some point in your history, somebody dipped in the chocolate and is far enough back that you at 2% now. You know. And then she really be upset if we start looking at the only way you can be as white as you are and have 2% of African blood in you.
That's a great grandparent, a great great grandparent.
Right. So now what time frame are we looking at?
Yeah.
How that black get in your family, ma'am?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You ain't ready for that one.
I would suggest more go into your family history and try to find which ancestor it was. Good luck on that. And try to find the story around it. Not sure if you're ready for it, but
She can handle that one.
But here's the funny thing, and I'm just gonna move on from this. Lady, if I had the power to give you what you want, I'm gonna ask you a question. I want you to be honest with yourself. I know you're not, but you know, I always talk like there's somebody that's on the fence. We will let you into the club.
sorry.
You will have all access to the club. You just have to swear an oath. And that oath is that you in America will be treated just like a black woman.
Because all women are women.
Okay? Just swear an oath that from this point on, because I guarantee you, when I say that, you will never pull them glasses down ever again to show that damn 2% of your Nigerian. So swear an oath that you in America will be treated like a black woman in America.
That's what makes that hypothetical so difficult, right? Because you'll hear those, oftentimes where they be like, "Well, since we're all the same, would you want your child? Would you want your child to switch places with my child?" And because it's a hypothetical, they'll lie to you. Yeah, sure. No, you wouldn't.
No, you would.
No, you wouldn't. Like, I was thinking about the other day when I was trying to figure out a good way to kind of like go through a hypothetical with somebody who doesn't understand, and in a way they can't truly understand in America, because it's normative to be, to be white in America. In fact, you can't really understand, period, because I don't care where you go in the world, you have open access. Like, if you walk into an all black space and you're the one white person, you are safe. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing to you. Right? Now, that ain't mean to walk down a dark street in the ghetto where people are hungry and starving. Yeah, something might happen to you because you look like money. But just like walking into
take my word for it. You're equal now.
Yeah, we all human now, buddy. We all human now, buddy. But just like you walk into a church, if it's an all-white church and you the one black person and you walk into that church, you're gonna feel funny. It doesn't mean that you're gonna be under threat, but you'll feel funny because you become the focus of attention. And either they're going to be overly nice pretending like they care about you and like you when really they're just curious about you. You're the oddity. Let me touch your hair, right? Type shit. Or you'll feel so uncomfortable that you know it's time for you to leave. But if you're the one white person walking to a black church, you're gonna be just fine. Just don't come in there with a backpack. We don't play that. We don't play that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
No, I'm serious. I was
listening. Dude, I'm agreeing with you.
No, because I was going with Anna's facial expression. So it has become part of like a normative type thing that young men carry backpacks like wherever they go. They don't mean nothing by it. They just always carrying a damn backpack of some sort. Well, in the black church, you ain't gonna do that. Right? First of all, we immediately will think about South Carolina. That's number one. But number two, it's just not protocol. That's not how we move.
The guy named Dylan
Roof, yeah. But I was listening to one of my new favorite podcasts, the New Evangelicals. I like listening to that cat. He's an interesting guy. But he's like, yeah, he went to a black church, had his backpack on, and he got stopped at the door. Yeah, because we don't do that here, sir. Nope. But yeah, but it's just interesting. But what I was talking about before, I was trying to work through this thing. I was like, so imagine trying to get across to, just a decent, regular old person, European dude, but just say, hey, this is what it could be like. Imagine going to a job. You got a brand new job, but everybody on the job speaks Spanish, and everybody on the job is Spanish of some type, right? You got black Latinos, brown Latinos, you got all the different Latinos, but they all, Spanish is their first language. Now, you understand Spanish, though. You speak fluent Spanish, but it's not your first language. So you are able to go onto this job. You can do your work. You can interact with each other, but you're never truly one of them. You never truly fit. You speak the same language. You like some of the same foods. You laugh at many of the same jokes. But no matter how hard you try, if you try, you're not one of them. And if you ever needed something or you felt like you needed to assert yourself, you wouldn't know how to do it because you would be upsetting the dominant culture in the space that you're in. See, as a European American, you can't relate to that because everything is tailored and suited towards you. There's not a lot of black-owned businesses with a lot of white employees, okay? Not because we won't hire you, because you don't want to work there, okay? The deep pockets are in the bigger businesses, which are overwhelmingly owned by white people. But for us, when we go to work, we have to learn how to navigate in your space, knowing that we're still can never be one of you. We will still get passed over for a role, not because you hate my color, but because I'm not one of you. You're not as comfortable with me. You can have different jokes, but if I tell a joke, it might land wrong because I don't understand all the cultural subflow. Right? So I want people to think about that when you are looking at why are your black colleagues selectively engaging with you. It's not that we don't like you. It's just that we know that we don't fit. And it's dangerous for us to try to fit because if we overstep, if we say the wrong thing, if we make the wrong joke, if we get too familiar, our punishment will be swift. And it'll affect everything Ty does. And see, that's something I'm trying to figure out a good way to break that down to people in a shorter conveyance time. But it's like, yeah, that's what it would be like. We speak English. Marlon and I speak English. Only language we know. Been American our whole life. But America has always rejected us as a group. America has always rejected us. This past election shows you that America, once again, rejected us. Not just us, but it rejected us. Right? Doesn't matter that we speak the language. Doesn't matter that we watch the same TV shows, eat the same food, ride in the same Uber, hang out in some of the same. Well, we don't really hang out in the same spots. We're very segregated. But it doesn't matter. And there's a reason for it. We live in a different world. We live as guests in your world.
That you created.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they didn't create it. It stole every damn thing. But it's still a world that has been tailored.
Well,
to fit them.
That's literally what I mean. You stole everything and created this environment. Because let's face the fact of you didn't steal from Native Americans and culture to Native American. You stole from Native America. You stole from Native American and created what you thought this country should be.
And then tried to force them to assimilate to a new culture.
Forced them to do. You did it in America. You did it to Mexico. Look at Texas. Look at New Mexico. Look at Arizona.
It doesn't matter where the European is gone.
Yes.
The MO is always the same. Exactly. But I think that one of the things that's super important is to really look at things in their context so that you don't typecast an entire group as being evil per se. It's a cultural difference, right? The environment in which you come up in shapes, right, how your culture evolves. Europe is a very tough place. It doesn't have long growing seasons. It doesn't have a great deal of farm and agricultural abundance. In order to survive, you have to be hardy. You have to secure territory. You have to expand said territory. And you have to repeat. So when you enter another world, so to speak, Africa and South America being the two main ones, where food is in abundance, land is in abundance. People don't know how big Africa is, right? You go into a culture that doesn't function like you, right? They give, because no matter how much I give, I'll never run out. But if you come from a place where giving could mean your life, and you put that on top of another one, you run roughshod. It's just what it is. You just take over everything because it's what flows. And then power begets power. Now that you have the power, no one just gives it up. So you start to expand and entrench your power. And that's how I view how the world got shaped the way that it's gotten shaped. Where I have my frustrations is we're all elevated thinking people. And you can't unwind history, but you can change the future. And America is following in the footsteps of Europe, because Europe did this before us. Let's not forget. Brexit preceded Trump, MAGA. So MAGA is doing what Brexit did. And they're going to learn the same lessons. The economy is going to crash. We're going to be isolated. China's going to gain more footholds around the world. Russia is going to get more solid in their land base and alliances. We're ceding that ground. Same thing happened to Europe. So let's see. Let's let it roll.
All right, let's close it out, folks. Foxy's videos of the week. 3 videos of the night. If you're new to the show, please understand this is the last segment of the night. So if you haven't hit that like button, please do so at the time. We're going to go ahead and get up out of here. Get what you want.
Hello?
Honey? Are you at the club?
Yes.
I'm at the mall now and I found this beautiful leather coat. It's only $1,000. Can I get it?
Well, sure, if you like it that much.
Okay. I also stopped by the Mercedes dealership and saw the new model. You know, the one I really like.
How much?
120.
Well, at that price, I want it with all the options.
Great. Oh, and one more thing. The house we wanted last year is back on the market. They're asking 1.5.
We'll make them an offer. But come in at 1.4.
Okay. I love you, baby.
I love you too.
Okay, bye.
Does anybody know whose phone this is?
So she didn't know her husband's voice?
Really? Like,
That's where it broke for me.
huh?
Because otherwise it'd have been hilarious. But I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all talk for a long time for you not to know this man's voice. You know, it must be her sugar daddy. I don't know. You don't buy no house with no sugar daddy. I don't know. Yeah, that didn't happen. That
But
didn't
it's kind of funny to me that she was shocked. That didn't clue her in on something is wrong because she was after the coat, which she was cool with, but she was like every statement that he made afterwards, she was shocked on. Sure, get the Mercedes. I want all the options. Really? Well, let me push forward. The house is back on the market. Look at that 1.4. Oh my God, lady, come on. Come on.
I mean, hey, the golden goose is laying eggs. Are you going to interrupt it?
Good boy. Next video. Lady, do you need help?
Raindrops are falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet are too big for.
I didn't see.
The umbrella was extended, but it was still wrapped.
Oh, sure. I'll show it to you again. It's only 9 seconds.
Raindrops are falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet are too big for.
I get where someone would see that's funny.
I didn't see any umbrella up there.
That's the problem. Like, you know, if you have the little wrap around snap on your umbrella to keep it closed,
Yeah.
that was still on. So the post was fully extended, like you holding a real umbrella, but the thing is still wrapped up tight.
Okay.
Only reason I'm saying I can see where people would laugh and where it would be funny is because that doesn't make any sense. But the part of me, there's another part of me that just couldn't get past. She's got her hood on. It's raining, and she's holding this thing up. So there may be something literally wrong with her. Oh, it didn't look like a microphone to me, though. It looked like an umbrella that's not open.
It was an umbrella.
Okay. But yeah, that's why I didn't laugh.
All these videos were sent by Foxy, so well.
Don't you be throwing Foxy under the bus.
She did. She's in all of these.
You're the curator.
Yes, I am.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever. Any excuse other than Foxy.
One more. Let's go.
One more. It's a collection of commercials. Is a British company, I guess. But the point is, you need glasses.
How could you do this to me, Barry?
I'm over here, Bev.
Specsavers sponsors Emmerdale.
Dave, it isn't your baby. That's your baby.
Specsavers sponsors Emmerdale.
Who's this fancy woman? Well, Barry?
Specsavers sponsors Emmerdale.
Who's this you're holding hands with, Barry?
It's you.
Specsavers sponsors Emmerdale.
Buster's got off his lead. I can't find him anywhere.
Specsavers sponsors Emmerdale.
I feel sorry for Barry. Barry had a hard life, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Woo, boy, get your woman some glasses. Barry, help her.
I'm sorry. I have to stretch my imagination out, but I'm sorry. Who is this woman that you holding hands with? That's you, babe. And the phone is this far from your eyes.
The part about that really doesn't make sense is if you're able to tell I'm holding hands, and you ought to be able to tell who's in the picture.
There are lots of
As a
people
black
that
person.
can't see something that is that close to them.
I'm one of them. Like, if I don't have my contacts in, my stuff is this close to my face. I block the light. I can't read a book without my without something because I'm so blind.
I
But
need to get
that also
glasses.
means I would not be able to tell that you're holding hands.
Also, for the simple fact of I know that I can't see that far. I know I have the image because apparently for this woman this happened 3 times. So why don't you calm down instead of accusing every freaking? You know you can't see.
Barry knew what he was getting into. Come on.
He didn't know what he was getting into, but he ought to know what he's in.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you were saying, Marlon, like, calm it down. I agree with you, but I've had to come to the realization. And Tiffany, if you ever see this, you gotta forgive me. Some people just respond at a higher level, and they're usually going to be opposite to their partner. Like, I respond to most things at a 3, and that's completely normal for me. Tiffany responds to things at like an 8, 9, and that's just normal for her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So he knows that his lady comes in hot.
I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you the situation. I'm just going to tell you that we had to learn the hard way that you need to slow down till you get all the information. Because one, you're going to get the wrong information, and then you're going to blow up, and then not only do you now have to work twice as hard because now you're going to have to double back and I'm sorry and forgive me and blah, blah, blah. And you still don't have the information. You still got to find out what the real information is. So now you got to work twice as hard. So slow down.
Yeah, I was just saying this with people's nature, right?
Yeah.
Because the first response, it usually comes in more passionate, is the way I guess I would put it. They're not like being overly aggressive. Like this lady, she was passionate, right? Like, Barry, but you did throw that water or whatever on the wrong guy just because he had on the same color shirt. Ma'am, we would have left and went straight to Lens Crafters. We gonna go ahead and get this taken care of tonight because you could have got us arrested. So poor Barry. You know, sometimes I wonder if my wife would go back in time, she'd probably make that same call. Yeah. Well,
Dude,
you know.
I'm still shocked Foxy here. I'm sorry. I am. Every day I wake up and go, you still on the bed with me? Okay.
Well, see, I am one heck of a guy. I'm an amazing guy. I'm also a pain in the ass. So I just think that my pluses somehow outweigh my minuses, and we just gonna roll with it.
I'm more of a pain in the ass. I'm still shocked. Sorry, it's not gonna take that bad. You came back home? Really? I'm still shocked every single freaking time. Baby, didn't you get paid this week? Could have left in. What? Oh. Anyway, Anna, tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me at BoreliaEtc.com.
Yes.
I don't even know. I don't know what to say.
Put a video out today.
Huh?
You did. You put a video out
today, so don't pull that. You can find me here and nowhere but here. You put a video out today.
Yes, but the best place to find me is here with Marlon and Anna. That's where the most consistent place seems. But yo, I actually had 100 views. That's a lot for me. But yeah, I'm putting out occasional content on Complex Mind, Simple Man. So please go ahead and subscribe.
And with this permission, I will post that video tomorrow sometime.
Oh, you ain't got to post them. Just post the ones from politics, because the other ones it's just me talking to black folk. So
yeah, Parker. Yeah, this has been putting out good videos. It has.
Parker,
they are
it's
really
very
good
kind of you,
videos.
sir.
And I've been promoting the political videos. Yeah.
Thank you, Susan.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, and of course,
I'm assuming you're LGBTQ.
I appreciate Anna. I appreciate Theas. And until next time, we will see you when we see you. Peace.
I really ain't got nothing.
Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Barry.
Oh, Lord. We're going to be on for 1 second. So, okay, everybody.